Hola amigos, bienvenidos a Mi Barrio y Su Gente. Yo soy Manny Rodríguez. Gracias por estar con nosotros. El programa de hoy fue realizado con el objetivo de promover la diversidad cultural, informar, motivar y entretener. Este programa es producido por el Hispanic Education Association y por ende tratamos de brindarle información acerca de programas educativos para beneficio de la comunidad. Una de las inquietudes que miembros de nuestra comunidad nos expresan es la educación superior. Sucede que tenemos muchos jóvenes estudiantes y adultos que no quieren ir a la universidad, otros que ya fueron y quieren cambiar de profesión sin tener que invertir mucho dinero. Por ese motivo, le damos la bienvenida a nuestro primer invitado. Él es el director de educación de los programas vocacionales del Distrito Escolar del Condado Polk, el señor John Small. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Manny. It's great to be here.
John, tell us about the programs that the Polk County School Board offers as an alternative to college.
We really offer a vast array of opportunities for people that college might not be the right thing. And not necessarily that college isn't the right thing, but they have targeted aspirations of something that they want to do or have a love or a talent for, and we can help them get there without going into extreme amounts of debt and getting a college.
Let's say that there is someone that doesn't have a lot of money, but wants to do something like something that takes less time, something vocational. What would you offer for that individual, someone that likes hands-on?
We have a lot of programs available at our two career centers. Ridge Career Center over in Haines City area, it's right off of Highway 27, and Travis Career Center in Lakeland. And they range from a brand new one that we started at Travis this year, airframe and power plant. Within a year, you can go to that program, become a certified by the FAA technician, and go to work for a company like JetBlue within a year.
And how long does it take for someone to begin and complete that program?
It depends on really the level that they come into the program with, because we accept all students. If they have low academic ability, we will remediate them to get them to where they need to be. If they come with high academics, then we can get them right into the program, and can be finished as short as a year. Generally, to complete the full certificate programs, it takes about 2 years.
Okay, and what are the requirements to be admitted into that program?
We don't necessarily have requirements. Okay. We have requirements for a student to get a certificate, and we go off of that by TABE scores that are governed by the state. And so to receive a certificate in a certain program, you have to have a certain academic attainment. But you don't have to have that before the program starts. We will remediate and give you the opportunity to bring those scores up as we go through. For instance, they're at different levels. The TABE score for someone in automotive technology is pretty high on the math, on the area of math. Cosmetology is pretty high in the area of math. The nursing programs are high in math. Some of the other ones aren't as high, but you come in, we get you to that, give you the resources to get that attainment while you're going through and studying your program of study.
Oh, that's awesome. The TABE is a test, T-A-B-E, and it's a test that measures the knowledge of math, language, English, and so on.
It's a test of adult basic skills.
Okay, so someone with a lower academic level skills could start the program, and while the person is in the program, you're also teaching them math and language arts and English and reading and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me tell you, we have programs for everyone. So if someone is not a native speaker of English, that can be a challenge.
Absolutely, yes.
So we have at our adult schools and our Ridge and Travis ESOL programs that help them master the English language as it's tested. So they can go to the ESOL program, bring their English skills up to a standard, then they feel comfortable taking the TABE and going through the program, and it's a great assistance. So we can take someone that knows no English at all, and we have a sequence pathway to get them to be a practical nurse or a firefighter, an auto technician,
Let's talk about the Firefighter Academy.
Yes, sir.
Where do you have that academy?
That academy is at Ridge Career Center, and it's actually it's the Firefighter Academy of Polk County. We partner with all of the fire chiefs in the cities in Polk County, and also the Polk County Fire Chief. That is the advisory board for this program. And there's fire standards in Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2. So a person could come in and within a year go through those programs, become a certified firefighter for Polk County. We've even started a high school fire academy at Bartow High School that articulates to the fire academy at Ridge.
So someone can go to high school while learning to be a firefighter?
That is correct.
Wow. And if it's in the high school level, that person would have to go through the 4 years program, and then at the end would be a what? A firefighter?
They would be certified volunteer firefighter, and they'd have the standards taken care of. So we articulate that then to the adult program. But the 4-year program that a student would go through in high school consists more than just the firefighter. We actually have them go through the first responder program, the EMTs, yes. And then their senior year they take the firefighter standards program.
Okay, let's say that I have a high school diploma already, and I have a full-time job because I have a family and I want to go to the academy. Where would I fall in that? As an adult, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Firefighter Academy?
Yes.
We offer that program because that's kind of like a boot camp,
yes.
You know, like the military or anything else. That is, they would have to attend during the days. It is a shorter term program, so they'd have to plan ahead for that in order to take that. We do not offer the firefighter program in the evenings, but many of our other programs, people don't have to necessarily quit what they're doing. We offer the programs in the afternoon and evenings to make it convenient for people that already have jobs that may want to go into a different field or start a new career.
Okay, let's talk about beauty, cosmetology. I heard that you have that program.
Yeah, now to look at me, you wouldn't know that, but we do have that program. We actually have two of them. We have the cosmetology program at Travis Career Center, and we have a cosmetology program at Ridge Career Center. And we run both day and evening programs there. Our programs are generally full, and they have a great reputation because some of the programs that we offer at Ridge and Travis require a state certification. You have to pass a state exam. Cosmetology is one of those. And we have one of the highest pass ratings in the state of Florida in our cosmetology programs.
Well, that's pretty good. Are these courses expensive?
You know, that's kind of relative. We have a fee that is a per hour fee, and that's regulated by the state of Florida. They adopt those fees each year, and then we can adjust those within a window. And then above the tuition for the program, there's also lab fees. And cosmetology is one of the more expensive ones.
It's hands-on.
Yeah, it's hands-on, and you have to have the expensive scissors. You want the right equipment, and we want to teach people with the right equipment and tools. But we do have assistance. There's financial assistance. We are accredited by the SACS, the Southern Association of Colleges Schools, and the Council on Occupational Education. So with those accreditations, we're eligible for all the Pell grants and federal financial aid that someone might be eligible for can apply to our programs. And that can pay for tuition assistance and also for the equipment for folks. And if you are financially in a bad spot because maybe you were laid off in the recession, that financial assistance can actually help you get through to the end of the school program as well. And more of the dollars can go actually to the student in the education and helping them with assistance if the tuition isn't so high. And we're very reasonable. We're the cheapest game in town.
That's pretty good. I see that you brought with you Carol Mitchell. She's one of the instructors for the cosmetology program that you have. Carol, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Manny. It's nice to be here.
Carol, you're one of the instructors. Do you have a lot of students in the programs?
Oh yes, it's always full. We do have 2 classes that we have at night, at Travis, and we also have 2 during the day.
Okay, so it's high on demand.
It is,
Okay.
and they're always full.
What can the students learn from that program?
Well, actually, cosmetology is a huge, it opens many, many doors. A lot of people just think that it's cutting hair or doing a hairstyle and you're done, but it's actually anything and everything that you could do for your hair, but also for your skin and for your nails. So it opens a lot of doors.
Okay, so for individuals that are thinking about their future, okay,
Yes.
I like cutting hair, I like doing nails and maybe facials,
Yes.
But where can they expect to work?
Oh, wow. Well, it's endless. First of all, most of them want to go into a salon, a full service salon, so they can cut hair, highlight hair, and do everything with hair, but they can also do manicures, pedicures, and facials. So that's a full service salon. And now most salons are going to full service. So if you're not busy with the client doing her hair, you can always go to the other side and give a facial or a manicure.
Do you have, are there any opportunities for males to
Yes.
incur into that area?
Absolutely. I have one gentleman right now that's already started a couple of businesses. He's ready for when he gets out and does his 1,200 hours to get his license. And he is going to have his own barber shop. And he is excellent, excellent barber.
You see, in the community, we have problems finding a good barber shop. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, once you find one that can cut your hair the way it makes you feel good and
Yes.
look the way you are, well,
Yes.
you want to keep that individual.
You do.
So you have that program that is available or will be available for the students in the Polk area.
Absolutely, absolutely. I took my students the other day for a field trip, and we visited a barber shop in Lakeland, and there were 6 gentlemen working, and all 6 were Travis graduates.
Oh wow, that's a great
awesome.
news.
2
Yes.
of them were mine. It was amazing,
You felt
and
good,
they're
right?
doing really good. Yeah.
Okay.
Really good.
Now, for the members of the community, and you can help in, John, can people from the community go and do their hair, do their nails?
They can. We actually, that's an assistance to us. So we do not do it to run it as a for-profit
A
business.
business, yes.
We're a not-for-profit, but we do charge for supplies and things that we would use. But the assistance piece comes that when people from the community come in for those services, our students have to perform a certain amount of services in order to get their certificate. So that helps us. And cosmetology is a little different. We can't necessarily go out, and it's hard to intern. So if people from the community come in, they actually provide a service for us.
Yeah. John, thank you very much.
Thank you, Manny.
Carol, thank you for calling.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Vamos a una pausa y regresamos con más de Mi Barrio y Su Gente.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Bienvenidos a Mi Barrio y Su Gente. Si usted es como yo, usted vive una vida ajetreada, con mucho que hacer y casi nunca tenemos tiempo para uno mismo. Pero es importante mantener el balance entre el trabajo, la familia y lo que nos gusta hacer. Para hablar acerca de este tema, le doy la bienvenida a Katie Mullen, una artista local. Katie, welcome to Mi Barrio y Su Gente.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Katie, let's talk about you, about your life, and about your passion.
First of all, I have a wonderful family, so whatever I like to do, I try to involve them. But I love art, and I've been an artist all my life, so I am into painting. And then I also recently got into mountain biking.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yes, so now I compete mountain biking. So I can't just sit there and ride the bike, I have to race the bike. So I was in a race yesterday, came in 3rd place, by the way.
Did you get any injuries?
No, this is the first time I've done a race and I did not fall. But it was on somewhere, they nickname it Flatwoods, so that might be why. It was really—
So it's flat.
It was pretty flat. So
Katie, you're married.
yes,
How long have you been married?
I have been married 12 years. It will be 13 years in June, sorry.
And you have a daughter.
I do.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter is 5. She will be 6 in April.
How do you balance your job, because you have a full-time job,
Full-time job.
and your role as a wife, as a mom, and then, you know,
Mountain biking, and then my business. I have a business, Lilybug Art. I named after my daughter, Lily. My studio is in my home, so Lily comes into my studio whenever she wants, and she paints. So that's nice. As far as when I'm painting, she can come in, so it's right there. So family time, it's not taking away. You'll have to ask my husband how he feels about all my things that I do, because I think it works. He knew how I was when he met me. I showed my work at the Orlando Museum of Art right before we got married, and so I was into that lifestyle already, and so.
Well, then let's welcome to the hero of the show.
Yes, the hero.
Yeah.
The only man that can put up with me.
That's right.
Thank you, Minnie.
Pear, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where did you meet Katie?
I went to college in Orlando at UCF. Actually, I went to college in Sweden, and I got my bachelor's degree over there. And in Sweden, it's only 3 years for a bachelor's degree. So they had a program with UCF where they would accept your bachelor's degree and you could finish up your master's there. So I went to UCF, and we had a party at my apartment, and she came.
Of course.
Yes.
You had a party.
Yeah.
Go.
So you're from Sweden.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So how long have you been here in the States?
Since '96, so 18 years.
Okay.
Yes, 18 years.
Okay. Well, one part that I like to speak a lot on the show is I like to promote cultural diversity.
Yes.
Because I was born in the Dominican Republic, and I'm a citizen of the United States, but I was born, abroad. Tell us about your experience moving from Sweden to the United States, specifically to Polk County.
Yes. I guess I had a kind of soft landing because I moved to Orlando first and then to Polk County.
Okay.
So, but it is different because as in Sweden we're much more Northern European than people are here in Florida. Much more, where you guys are much more Southern and
Exactly.
hospitable.
Yes.
Yes. We're much more, on time, and we kind of stay to ourselves and maybe not so friendly. Maybe it's the word I'm looking for. I'm not sure, but
Okay. Now,
whereas here, people always ask, "How are you? How are you?"
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question, Pear. Has it been difficult because you are a more reserved individual than Katie, your
Yes.
wife? Has it been difficult keeping up with her and dealing with everything that comes with having a wife that is so active?
Well, it's an adventure.
It is, right?
Yes, but in a good way.
Yeah.
She's. We've done many things together that I would have never done if I had never met her, and I think we complement each other very well. Compared to how I used to be 15, 16 years ago, I've changed too. I'm much more outgoing than I would have been. So,
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pear, you have to become a citizen of the United States, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you in the process of doing that?
Yes, I am.
For us, Latinos, we deal with issues of immigration issues
Yes.
all the time. And there's a small number of the people in the audience that they're not so affected by that.
No.
But people like me and others, we know a lot about immigration. So I wanted to see your point of view about the transitioning
Yeah.
here.
Actually, I just recently submitted the paperwork for the citizenship. So
But
I'm
when he
just waiting.
came here, he was on a, sorry to interrupt, but when he came here, he was on a student visa.
Yes.
And then he moved to a work visa. So
Okay.
we've done the student visa, work visa, green card.
Yeah.
So, and I've experienced all that too
Yes.
through the years. And, he's very proud of this country. And as my father was military, my grandfather. And so I have to say, he's ready. He is so ready to become a citizen. Why not?
Absolutely.
America's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Well, you have Lily. Lily is your daughter. Lily, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you, Lily?
Good.
How does it feel having a mom that runs a lot, rides her bicycle a lot, and then she paints a lot? Are you proud of her? Yes. When you grow up, what do you want to do?
Well, be in the army.
In the army? Wow, that's not like your mom.
No.
Tell me why.
Well, because I can save people.
Wow, that's just amazing. We need to have a section here speaking with younger the generation of people from Polk County like Lily. That's one of the most beautiful things anyone has ever said here. I think you'll do great in the army. Thank you. You brought some of your work here.
I did.
Let's talk about that. For
Okay.
example, behind you, there's one that we're gonna put also later on in the
Okay.
camera. Tell me, what is that? What are
Okay.
we looking at?
Well, I'd like to say that I'm happy all the time, but there are some sad times that I go through, and I went through some sad times with the end of my Florida State Champion Series with the mountain biking. You know, you meet different types of people, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I guess I felt a little burned, and but this is what that's about. It's just because you're wearing a mask of happiness, sometimes maybe inside, it's a little deep. Sometimes inside you might not be feeling as happy.
Okay, so that's you
Yes,
yourself.
yes. You can see I
Okay.
put the scar right there on the lip, just like I had the scar.
Like a real scar.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
It looked really nice.
yeah.
Okay, you also have here,
That was when I was blonde. You picked all my self-portraits. I don't have many self-portraits. Those are the only two. And
well, that looked
so-
really nice.
Yeah, that was I had a picture done, and so I tried to see if I could copy it, and that's, like I said, I was a blonde back then.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of women, they have the advantage that they can
Yes,
go back
we
and-
do.
back
You
and
know, I
forth.
thought, well, the more I gray, maybe it'd be easier to go blonde, but you know, that's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
What inspires you when you're painting?
Well, right now I do a lot of commissioned work as well. And so if I get asked by a client, like for example, a good friend of mine, she has this dog, and this dog is her world. His name is Petey. And Petey is a Jack Russell, and it has this red ball. You know, some dogs are very after their little red ball or whatever, and they call it Janet. And I got into that story because I think we all have a Janet that we are so attached to in a positive and negative way. So when I'm painting, even if it's a commissioned piece, I try to get myself to where I can relate to the story. And so, but these are all works that I've done on my own that weren't commissioned. I have an obsession with Spanish dancers, or I could never dance. It's like me swimming. It's not a good thing. So I don't know why, but I always love like the flamenco
Okay.
dancers and things like that. So when I'm in a happy place, I'll do these sexy flamenco because that's where I want to be.
For the people watching the show, especially the wives in Polk County,
Okay.
that would like to do something else other than work
Uh-huh.
and being a wife or a mom, what would you tell them in order to balance better their
You
lives?
know, I went through, I've always been very outgoing. After I had my daughter, I put on a lot of weight. And I kept telling myself, well, I just had a daughter. But then when she got to be 2 and she was potty trained, I kind of was telling people I just had a daughter. And being 50 pounds overweight, I had gotten out of my art. I just kind of all I was my job and, you know, whatever. And so I decided, what kind of role model am I if I don't sit there and go after my passions and my dreams? And I tell her later on, Lily, you've got to go after your passions and your dreams. And then she says, well, why didn't you? So at that point, I met this, who is one of my best friends today. I'm going to drop her name, Jessica Linksweiler Merritt. And she got me into the running. Because I've always been a competitive athletic person, but once you put on that weight that you've never put on before, it's very hard to get it off. And you go through the whole denial and self-esteem images and things like that. So I worked very hard at 2 years getting that off. And then I started my Lilybug art, and I named it after my daughter because she's my inspiration and she's the reason. Like, there's some days that I get perverted people, or I get, you know, somebody wanting something, and it's like, why am I even doing this, you know? And then I think, no, I have a dream, and I'm going to go after it, and I'm going to keep going. And it's the same with mountain biking. I feel like if there's something that I'm into, and it might change, you know, the 5K running was a few years ago, but I'm going to give it my all. My first 5K that I did, 50 pounds overweight, was over 35 minutes. In 2 years, I got that down to 23 minutes.
Oh, wow.
You know, and so, but that's just my thing, is if you want it, go after it. It might not happen overnight. It might be something you have to work for. But I know, looking back on my life, when I'm 80, I'll be happy. And I can look back and think of all the memories and things that I went after, whether I succeeded or not, I went after and I have no regrets. So that's the way I look at it.
Thank you for coming to Mi Barrio Y Su Gente.
Yes.
The doors are open just in case you want to come back in the future if you have additional
yes.
work that you'd like to display. Per, Lily, thank you very much for coming. This is
you,
your
Manny.
show, and
Thank
hope
you
to
so
see you
much.
guys again.
Yes,
Thank you for having us.
definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vamos a una pausa y regresamos con más de Mi Barrio y Su Gente.
Which planet are we living on? Earth, right here.
What do you think it would be like to teach?
They're all a part of our
Chances are, you have no idea.
We're gonna turn on the lights and everybody look up.
Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
We ended the last segment of the show with a great performance of this young man. Now, we want to know more about him. Tell us your name.
Dixon,
Dixon what?
linebacker,
Okay, how old are you, Dixon?
17,
17 years old. How long have you been playing the guitar?
about 5 years.
Okay, and are you still a student in high school?
Yes, I go to Harrison School for the Arts.
Okay, and what do you do over there?
I study music theory classes, and I have a jazz band class that I take every day where I practice with other musicians playing like jazz standards.
Dixon, what are your plans for your future? You're really good at it.
I want to create something that's never been created before, like my own genre of music.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, the doors are open. So if you get some advances in that, call me back and have your proud dad, JV.
Correct.
JV, how do you feel, about watching Dixon perform that way?
We're very proud of him. He's done a great job. We've seen him grow as a musician, as a person in the Harrison School of the Arts. It's been a blessing for our entire family.
Was it easy for him to get to this level?
He has a lot of talent, so it was a little bit easier than some folks, but he has worked extremely hard as every day he practices 2 or 3 hours. He loves music, he loves what he does, so he's committed, and that's really helped.
Absolutely. Do you find it interesting to stay home playing with the guitar or going outside and playing with your friends, and how do you balance that?
I do a little bit of both. I try to spend at least an hour a day practicing.
Every day?
Yes.
I saw you going at it, and where'd you get inspiration? Because that was your raw talent.
A lot of people, like Carlos Santana, he's influenced me heavily. And Stevie Ray Vaughan, like those players.
Okay. What do you tell the younger students that are in high school that they have a passion for music? What do you tell them to inspire them?
Just keep going at it. Don't give up.
Okay. Well, Dixon, thank you very much for coming to Mi Barrio Y Su Gente. JD, and for the rest of your family, you guys have done a wonderful job. The doors are open, so you can come here at any time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break, and we'll continue with more of Mi Barrio Y Su Gente. Welcome back. People say that the best is always kept for the end. And as such, our next guest is a man that the circumstances of his life set him up for failure, but he refused to fail. Ladies and gentlemen, George Tinsley. Mr. Tinsley, welcome to Mi Barrio Y Su Gente.
It's my pleasure to be here, Manny.
Mr. Tinsley, you are a successful businessman. But I heard that before you were so successful, your life wasn't like that. Tell us about your life, early life. Where were you born?
Well, Manny, I was born in Louisville, Kentucky, in a section of Louisville called Smoketown. It's the East End section, a very tough area of Louisville that had some real tough circumstances going on in that area during that particular era of my life. So I like to refer to it as turning obstacles into opportunities, and where you have every obstacle, it's an opportunity for you to turn it into something good.
Let's talk about your life at home. Were you guys poor?
Well, in my mind at the time, we didn't have a lot, and my mother, who was 65 years old, who adopted me at 7 months old. We lived in a one room, about a 10 by 10 room with no running water, a little kitchenette, that all the utilities were on the outside. And we both slept in that one bed. So it was a tough situation, but it was bearable because she loved me. She gave me all the support and encouragement that she could, everything she understood at the time. She was an uneducated lady who basically took care of children, and that's how she wound up with me. My mother dropped me off as she was going to Cincinnati, Ohio to seek a job, and she just never returned. So Mama, as I call her name was Willie Tinsley. She raised me until she passed when she was 13 years old. And when I was 13
okay,
years
good,
old.
good,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you gave
yeah.
me Okay, so she passed away.
Yes.
And what happened with you then?
Well, when she passed away, I went to live with her son, who we'd all lived together very early in that era when I first went to her place. But when she passed away, I went to live with her son, and he had a one room with a little kitchenette, and he worked at night. And so when he went to work, I stayed and slept there with his wife in that bed, which is a very uncomfortable situation. She was not very pleased with the circumstances, but because she didn't want to get him upset, she put up with it until he was able to find a two bedroom where we actually moved into that facility.
During that time, birthday came. Did you get any gift, birthday parties?
No,
Christmas?
I quite frankly, birthdays, Christmas, all of those important times to a lot of kids were just, I spent those times usually with some of my friends, visiting their homes and enjoying their situations. Later on during that era, when I was probably 10, 11 years old, I remember every two to three Christmases in a row, I actually found money on the street that I turned into gifts. You know, in those days, $20 went a long way, and both times I found a $20 bill, and it was sort of like a gift from heaven. I look back on it, because we didn't have very much, and that made my Christmas.
Absolutely. At that time, did you have any aspirations for the future?
Well, believe it or not, I always, at first I wanted to be an artist. I felt that that was a calling that I had, because I was real good with sketching and had pictures in my mind that I could transfer to paper. So that was something that I wanted to do. But later on, at that age, I began to think about getting into business, believe it or not. My first job was actually working in a chicken plant, which was down and around the corner, where chickens were brought in for slaughter, and I was part of that assembly line that we took chickens out of their misery, so to speak. Not even ever thinking about eventually winding up in the chicken business later on. But that's where I think that first inkling came in seeing how people were transferring their goods into making money. And so I did a lot of thinking about it and talking about it, and I guess it kind of stuck.
When did you start playing basketball?
Started playing basketball early on, and probably as about a 10, 11-year-old when I started to grow, and I was taller than most of my peer group. And so going to the basketball court, pretending to be Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, who were the stars during that era, and I got tall, and I was always quick and good rebounder, could jump real good and real fast. So couldn't put the ball in the hole. wasn't an offensive player, but most of the guys, the tough guys in the area, wanted me on their team. So that's how it all started, and it kind of developed from there.
At that time, when you started playing basketball and being this young, tall, black guy in maybe high school, did people start treating you different, like the school staff, teachers, principals?
Well, I tell you, the experiences where I actually first felt race entering into the picture was when in my elementary school was an all-black school. It shut down in the fifth grade when I passed to the fifth grade, and all of the students were dispersed to different schools, and quite a few of us went to a school closer to where I lived. And when we went there, right away we all took tests, and was given a piece of paper to take home for Mama to sign, and which she could not write, so she made an X. I signed her name, took it back, and lo and behold, I got moved from the fifth grade back to the fourth grade. And in those days, they were kind of half classes. Now, the reason being was that our books and educational, the way we were progressing was a lot slower than the school at the white school that we had been integrated into. And during that time, my 6th grade school teacher called me up one day and advised me that I needed to quit school, get a job. And so that was probably the first time that I really felt any inkling of racism, and didn't get upset. I just looked at her, smiled, and in the back of my mind, I said, I'll show her. And that's when I kind of had that first turnaround. And every year after that, going through junior high school and on into high school, I always went back to let her know I was still in school and still passing. Now, the other, that very next year in the 7th grade, was I met a school teacher by the name of Miss McHaines, Miss Howell now. She was the teacher that probably set the stage for me to, for my self-esteem to grow. And she recognized that I needed help and was poor and so forth. And she took an interest in me and got me, I became the projector young man that would go around and set up projectors in the classes, and I was really excited about it. It made me feel real good, and I had to keep my grades up to keep the job. That was part of the agreement. And she had 2 friend school teachers. That one was the gym teacher, and one was a social studies teacher. And all 3 of those teachers took a real interest in me from the standpoints of athletics. She from the standpoint of self-esteem, and Mr. Sampson, who was a social studies teacher, from the standpoint of hygiene and dress and so forth. And they all spent time talking to me, and they seemed concerned, which made me feel good. And those areas of my development, I think that's where it really started taking off.
Had you not had these individuals invest so much of their time in you, how do you think your life would have turned out?
Oh, it could have been a drastic difference, but yeah, it takes a community to raise kids. And in those days, there were pimps and prostitutes, there were alcoholics, they were all in the neighborhood, and even though they were having tough times, these individuals took some interest in you, especially for me. I don't know if they felt sorry for me or whatever, but they would always talk to me, and I always took time to listen and take the good, understand what they were trying to tell me, and learn from those experiences. And they didn't set out in life to become prostitutes. They didn't set out to be pimps. They didn't set out to be drug addicts. They just, circumstances of their lives drove them to that direction. So that didn't necessarily mean that they were bad people. So I pulled the good from all of those situations, and watched those situations, became very alert to the situations in the neighborhood, and I think that I benefited from that. I could have very easily followed in those directions, but I think the ladies in the community always talked to me about how to treat girls, how to carry yourself, and the church that we went to, that I went to anyway. Also, I pulled a lot of good from all that really helped a building block for me.
It seems like you got the best out of everyone, even
Yes.
The people that were doing things that are not so appropriate.
Right.
You got the best out of them.
Right, and that was part of a natural instinct that I had, to be able to recognize when people were trying to tell you the good things, and they weren't trying to put you down. And there were those that did give you a tough time, but you learned to stay away from them. And I mean, we had gangs in the neighborhood that were requiring you to pay rent to walk the streets, and so you stayed away from those situations. And there was a little bit of everything going on, and you had to make the right choices. I had to make the right choices to get through all of those situations. And I always wanted to achieve. That was one of the big things that was in me, given that I didn't have a mother, didn't have a father, didn't have sisters and brothers, and I wanted to do something to make people proud of me, the people who really invested the time in to talk to me and so forth. I wanted to show them that it wasn't wasted.
When did you get your biggest break?
Probably my biggest break was actually getting an opportunity to play an organized team in high school when I started playing basketball and running track. That was something that really just made me really feel a real part of something, and that I really was making a contribution. From that, everything just kind of grew from there. And when I got into college, I was able to get a scholarship. That was a major break because a lot of people in our area didn't go to college, and so to get an opportunity to become a college basketball player and also have an opportunity to get an education was major. And fortunately, we won the national NCAA championship my freshman year. Had a chance to travel to Africa and Europe and Africa and spend time over there. This was during the Black Power movement in the 60s. So while over there, I experienced what it was really like to be in Africa and be an American in Africa, a Black American in Africa. It wasn't a great experience, and a lot of people in the United States were talking about leaving the country and going to Africa, going back home. Well, I realized that what we had in the United States was a whole lot better than in Africa. I remember I couldn't wait till I got back to kiss the ground in the United States, and that change gave me a different outlook and perspective on dealing with situations that was going on back in the United States. But my college career was just a utopian period. We won 3 national championships. It was a small college, Kentucky Wesleyan College. Got very close to the community, the student population, also the professors, and that really kind of thrust me to a whole new level. And during that time, had the opportunity to be on the alternate on the 1968 Olympic team, and then eventually made All-American team twice, and got drafted into the NBA and the ABA out of college. So it turned into just a perfect experience in college. So all of that, each step was once again, as I said, turning obstacles into opportunities. Every obstacle was there. It was another chance to turn it into a break.
How did you deal with drugs, sex, and alcohol during that time of your life in college?
Well, I dealt with it. I remember dealing with sex and alcohol in elementary school, believe it or not. I remember one day in class, a young lady undressing herself in the class, and just all kinds of things happening there. So as I matured through or grew through elementary, junior high school, et cetera, it was always around me. So and you saw the examples of what it could do to a person. My next door neighbor was a genius, but he was a wino. He was alcoholic, and I saw what it was doing to him. And early as a youngster, you kind of laugh at situations, but it became real that could really destroy your life. And my mother's son, who raised me, he was an alcoholic. He would work very hard, and when he got off of work, he would hit the liquor store and start drinking, and then he would come home and crash. And I was able to see all of that. So it was an experience that taught me that that's not what I really wanted to do.
Okay. Now, today, is it fair to say that you are a rich man?
Well, it's fair to say that we're doing fairly well. Yes.
How many restaurants do you have?
We probably have 65, and at the last count, and the reason I say that is in our concession business, especially down in Miami, we at times we close and we open. So actively working today, at least 65.
Between these restaurants, you have what? KFC?
I have Kentucky Fried Chicken. We have TGI Fridays. We have Shula's. We have Quiznos. We have Audubon, we have sports bars, we have Chili's, we have a number of different brands. Shula's, I think I mentioned that, Shula's Bar and Grill, and just numerous different Starbucks restaurants. Yes.
Okay. How did you transition from basketball player, a very popular basketball player, into a franchise owner?
Well, my career from in playing professional basketball came to an end. I went back to my high school, Louisville Male High School, became a teacher and a coach. Did that for several years. Left there and because I just got married to my wife, who was my college sweetheart, and who was a tremendous influence in my life then and still today. We got married. I started teaching school. Did that for 3 years. Very successful in coaching and a fair job in teaching. Not the greatest teacher, but I had an opportunity to go to the FBI, which I signed up and started the process there, and had been assigned to Quantico, Virginia for training. But prior to actually going, I got an offer to become a training instructor at KFC, and working with the Colonel himself, hand in hand, and we were working with different franchisees. That experience transcended into opportunities to grow within the corporation, where I became got into operations, area supervisor, district manager, vice president of human resources, franchise manager within an 8-year span, and then had the opportunity to open my own franchise in Auburndale, Florida. So that was our first venture. It was we were very successful the first year. When we opened, in Auburndale, it was one of the top KFCs in the United States, and still is today. For town size, 10,000 and below. And as we went through that business and some of the franchisor wars, and decided to start diversifying, and that's when I got into the TGI Fridays business at the Tampa airport, where we've been there for 20 years. And in doing so, just continued to diversify and get into other opportunities and different ventures. Now we're in Miami, we're in Tampa, and we're also in Louisville, Kentucky, where we have the food and beverage restaurants in that airport there. So it's a family business. My wife and I and my son and daughter are the owners of our companies, Tinsley Family Concessions, and we also have several other companies also. But we've been very fortunate to have good opportunities, and we certainly focus on making sure we give back to the communities where we actually do business and where we live. So.
What kind of things do you do to give back to the community?
Well, one of the great things that I'm proud of is that we do a think tank on a monthly basis, and bringing in young entrepreneurs to just kick it, talk about business, talk about community involvement, talk about their career development, have guest lecturers come in and speak. That's one of the real things that we're kind of on hold right now, but getting ready to kick that back off. But I speak at schools. I'm speaking at St. Pete College tomorrow. Speak at a lot of the local schools here in Polk County, the Polk County school system. My wife, we have a tutorial pro school called COLA in Winter Haven, where we work with a lot of students on after hours and on the weekends to help them develop their getting ready for the FCAT, as well as other skill development, personal skill developments that she and her group work there. So those are two of the key things that we do, but we do numerous different things to support a number of different organizations and initiatives in the Polk County area, as well as in Hillsborough.
Do you live in Polk County?
I live in Polk County. I live in Winter Haven.
Interesting that someone of your stature, remains living in Polk County. There are a lot of people that they don't have your height, for example, because that's kind of like an advantage if you play basketball. If you're tall, that's an advantage. They don't have that, and they might not see a talent that they have, so they can go ahead and be successful in life. What would you tell them?
Well, I tell them to just work very hard at whatever skill set you have, whatever height you have, if it's athletics. My basic feeling is everybody's good at something, and a lot of times it takes you to continue to try different things. If something doesn't work, try something else. And other people sometimes see things in you that you don't see in yourself that help pull those things out. But I think God has given us all special skills, special qualities, and that we just need to just keep on working very, very hard at it and develop those skills and set goals, not goals that are unreachable, but the goals that you can achieve, and then set another goal as you're improving. So, we all have, as I said, God-given talents, and we just have to really just kind of work very hard to develop those. And as I've spoken about my career, I've done a number of different things, and each thing another step towards something else. So I think that just live right, treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't give up. Always look at the glass being half full versus half empty. Keep a smile on your face, and things will work out for you. It's stay away from people that are trying to pull you down. Stay away from people who are negative, who always have a frown on their face, or any of those. Stay around positive people that are going to take you to the next level.
Mr. Tinsley, thank you very much for sharing your life story with us.
Thank you.
Bien, llegamos al final de nuestro programa. Esperamos que este episodio los inspire, informe y entretenga. Para aprender más acerca de nuestros invitados y sus historias, visite nuestra página en Facebook y recuerde darle un like. Gracias y hasta la próxima. Mi Barrio y Su Gente les llega a ustedes gracias a la fina cortesía de Main Street Tailors, Havana Delights Café, Jared Gordon Ford, Hacienda Mexico Restaurant, Silva Style Photography,